right. I think that's all. I got my water. I got everything. Let's get it popping, guys. What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the Purple and Gold Bar Show. I just got home from work. I've been thinking about this all day, so it's going to be a little bit raw and less notes that I'm used to having, but we're going to give you all the Week 14 picks, some thoughts, some analysis, some potential trap games, some 50-50 coin flips. We're going to talk a little bit about it all on today's show. So before we get started, let's hit that intro. Let's go, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back. I am your host of the Purple and Gold Bar Shows. I am Supreme Overlord, a.k.a. Mr. AI Man 3000, a.k.a. Mr. Purple and Gold Bars, at your service. We're going to get right at it, guys. But first, I want to remind everybody, anybody who leaves a comment as well as is subscribed during the month of December is going to be earning a ballot into a free t-shirt giveaway. We're going to be looking to give anywhere between 10 to 20 shirts. We're going to have let me grab and I got I don't have it close. Where is it? Either way, I'll have 1 second. Actually, let's go get it. All right. The intro played again. But anyways, here we go, guys. What's going on, Bob? This is the shirt. We got purple and gold bars in graffiti text, as well as the spray painted logo on the back for you guys. That is the first design. That is the first design that we got, and we're gonna have a mystery design as well that I got going on. It is a little bit dependent on the print shop that I use here locally. Hopefully we can get as many shirts. I might have to buy some. They will let me do that. Actually, they got back to me. So we're gonna be looking to give away anywhere between 10 to 15 shirts, and we're gonna do a live stream in the month of January. In those first few days, we will set up a live stream. We're gonna do it old school. We're gonna write down everybody's entry name. Now you can earn up to 10 ballots this month as long as you're subscribed and you leave a comment on any live or video or short that I upload in this month to earn a ballot. So up to 10 ballots gives you 10 chances to win. And so don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment on one of these videos this month. That way you can get entered here. The second design of the t-shirt is going to be a secret. It's not going to be announced until the day of the live. I got another design that I want to that I already got. I just got to make sure that all the images are kind of perfect, are adjusted or tweaked for the printing, because sometimes it doesn't really translate properly when you're trying to get those put on the t-shirt. So I still got a little bit of tweaking to do here, but that's the reason why we don't have it yet. But we will. So don't forget to hit that like and subscribe, and therefore get yourself some ballots into the draw starting the first week of January, somewhere around. I'll notice that I did leave a community post there so you guys can see. So don't forget about that. But we need to get into it, guys. So let's get rid of this slide here. Let's throw up. Let's get through these games. We got the Week 14 picks, guys. I'm going to give you everything that I am feeling or thinking. I've been thinking about this all day while working, and I think I've kind of gotten the majority of all my thoughts in order. Usually I spend some time before the live kind of organizing my thoughts and getting them into notes, but I just got home and I'm on my 2-a-day workout schedule right now because I got 40 pounds to lose. Actually, now less than that because I've already dropped a little bit of weight, but like about 35 pounds to lose by the end of the year, making it 100 pounds lost in 6 months. I'm doing a weight loss series because I'm trying to dump all my all my knowledge, all my expertise, whether that's gaming stuff because I used to compete in FPS shooters in my youth. So dropping all the information that I can, including stuff that I've learned at work, because I am transitioning away from those, and I don't ever expect to be a personal trainer ever again. So I'm just gonna dump all that knowledge somewhere, so then people can take advantage of it. So I think I'm gonna actually upload the series onto this channel. So it's a 3-part series. So for phase 1, phase 2, and 3. So I'm in the final phase. The first phase, I basically just played video games and made some choice decisions on my diet. Not really a diet. You don't want to call it diet. The way that I ate. Let's just call it that, because diet has such a bad connotation. But keep an eye on that. In the early part of next year, I will be completing those edits and having those uploaded on my gaming channel. And so I will upload them here for you guys too, because I want you guys to have that knowledge, because it's very valuable. People used to pay me a lot of money to learn that stuff. So, but with all that being said, I think we covered everything on here. You guys want to get to the picks? Let's get out of it. Bob is in the house. MJ is in the house. SKOL brother or brothers. And let's get right into it, guys. Let's get into it. So we got Thursday night football. We got a revitalized Cowboys team, and we got a Lions team that's reeling right now. And after an embarrassing loss on Thursday night football for the Lions and an uplifting win for the Cowboys, these guys are coming in for a clash of the Titans, I guess you could call it, for lack of a better way of saying it. They're not really Titans, but a good way of saying it. Now, the Cowboys are running, I believe they're on a 3 or 4 game win streak. What is it? Let me pull up. I think they're on 2. By the way, 2 or 3 game win streak, and the Lions have been a little mediocre as of such, but it is what it is. They still have a strong roster, even though things are kind of not great, and they're heavily flawed and for completely different reasons. This is going to be a really fun game. I'm not going to lie. I think this might be the first Thursday night game in a little while where we're actually going to see a good amount of scoring. I don't think the defenses are going to show up for either team here. Now, who's going to be the offense that gets really rolling, right? We got Sonic and Knuckles. They can really run havoc on a defense, especially a bottom 10 defense like the Cowboys. And then you got the Cowboys that can also run havoc against a defense, against a Lions defense that's incredibly banged up. Bunch of players are on injured reserve all of a sudden. Terrion Arnold just came out, I think, Monday night here. It's been quite the bad situation there, and there's even talks that Kirby Joseph might retire. Oh, old Mr. ACL hip tackle freaking loser extraordinaire. Ooh, couldn't have happened to a better guy. Let's get him out of the league. He's a piece of garbage. We Vikings fans know exactly what that's like. Hawk hasn't really been the same since then, but he's still a great tight end. But now what makes this game interesting is I think this is going to be a full-on shootout. And so who's going to be the one that comes out on top? The Cowboys that are just really good at pointing up points, and then the Cowboys that can be really aggressive. I mean, the Lions that can be very aggressive, and sometimes they'll just run the score up on you, right? So this is going to be a wild one. I think this is the first out of all the games. There's a bunch of actually coin flips in this week, in my opinion. And so this one, probabilities are probably 50-50 here, or pretty darn close to a 50-50. So it's a bit of a coin flip, and I'm not sure which way to go here. Both are really teams that could really disappoint. But like Stephen A. always says, don't worry, just wait. The Cowboys will do what they always do. You know, they'll always find a way to lose when it counts most, especially in the later part of the season. Big ups to you, Stephen A. And for that reason, I'm going to take the Lions. Also, because of the fact that the Lions have had a full week, because they played last Thursday, so they got a lot more practice than they did the week before, and they're going to come in looking to reset the narrative for them, right? So if they come out here and they completely blow out the Cowboys, the hype train, at least in Detroit, might be reinvigorated. These fans, man, if you guys are having a bad week, if you guys are Vikings fans and you guys are just like, oh, so not happy with a developmental year because a lot of people had a way too high expectations, go watch Lions content creators the last couple weeks, it has been pure gold, guys. The team that is the loudest, the most obnoxious when they start winning, have become the most triggered, freaking loose cannon freaking fans. They're calling for everything. They want everything blown up. They're talking about this will never win a Super Bowl. We missed our window. It is pure cinema. It is chef's kiss. So if you guys are having a bad time and you want to revel in somebody else's misery, the Lions fan base is it, guys. So, but I'm still going to pick the Lions this game because of that, the extra time that they have to prepare, as well as that they're going to be a little bit more, I feel energetic compared to the Cowboys. They're going to be simmering down a little bit now that they're 2 weeks into their kind of like their renaissance in this season. And, they usually kind of mess up at this time. They are still a dumpster fire. But I feel like the Lions are going to come in regardless of the situation. I think Jameson Williams kind of made a big impact last week, even though it was a loss. Jared Goff still puts up a whole bunch of empty, like really flashy stats and never really comes out for it. But I don't think the Cowboys can turn this into a big game. I feel like Jared Goff will feel comfortable the entire time, and they're going to be looking to come away quick with some points and kind of take over that momentum really fast. And they are angry. Plus, they're at home, so they got that home field advantage. So I'm going to bank on, even though it's going to be a coin flip, it could literally go any way. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game. I just think that because of home field advantage, the Cowboys might mess up a drive or two early because of the noise, and that might be the foothold that the Lions need to take over. And that offense is still explosive. They can still do a lot. Jameson Williams, Jahmyr Gibbs, David Montgomery. Even though Laporte is not there, Mr. Tesla is actually looking pretty decent all of a sudden, right? So I'm going to give my tip to the cap to the Lions there on Thursday Night Football. Then we got the Seahawks versus the Falcons. Now, this is the perfect game for Sam Darnold. Absolutely zero pressure. Now, the Falcons do have the ability to put a little bit of pressure on the quarterback. They do have a sneaky good defense. Not great, but not terrible either. So if everything goes good and Kirk Cousins can kind of maintain a good amount of time of possessions, they might be able to make this a game. This isn't the type of game that Sam Darnold melts down or kind of shows his lack of progress in this area of football, because we know that he's definitely elevated his floor. That's undeniable. And when it comes to regular season games that are, non-meaningful, he can be all-star, right? But when the tough gets going, or last week like we saw against our Vikings, even though it was a shutout, the other team had to bail him out of that one because he was horrendous. That self-imposed pressure that he put on himself, he couldn't even do that against a team that's struggling and in the middle of development. Like, how embarrassing is that you let a team like that really rattle you? Like, that should have been like this week, where it should be no pressure, an easy win, and you should have been coming away with your narrative boosted. But now you come away with the media as well as fans thinking, what Sam Darnold are we going to get in the playoffs? But thank goodness this isn't a playoff game. This doesn't have a ton of implications. So I feel like the Seahawks are going to come away with an easy win, maybe 10 or more points, just because of how explosive that offense is. I don't think, like, we were able to shut down JSN. I just don't think the Falcons have that ability in their secondary. So I feel like JSN is going to go run wild and really get back on pace for that 2,000-yard season that he was on prior to last week. Moving on to Ravens and Steelers. Ooh, this is going to be a bit of a grudge match, guys. This is going to be a close, hard-fought win. Another one of these coin flip games. Man, there's a lot of coin flip games this week. But who do you bank on? I don't know if Aaron Rodgers is going to be starting. He always talks like he's going to start and like he's ready to go. Last week, he kind of got, after his wrist injury and whatnot, sat, whatever. I'm going to assume that he's not going to play this week. And I'm going to assume that the Ravens, as a result, because of being at home and just having a little bit more than the Steelers, are going to be able to come away with a close victory, probably a 3-point victory, maybe a 7-point victory. There is a possibility here that the Ravens can definitely light them up and blow them out. That's definitely always a possibility when you got Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry on the team. And if the Steelers' old defense old man defense kind of find some little bit of that fountain of youth this week, maybe they can keep the game closer than expected and give Mason Rudolph, if I'm not mistaken. Is it Mason Rudolph? No, he's not there anymore. Kenny Pickett. Is it Kenny Pickett? I think it's Kenny Pickett. Holy moly, guys, it's been a long day. But there is a possibility that if the Steelers defense might be able to keep them in the game here, they might find that fountain of youth, and Kenny Pickett might come away with a shocking victory. That's why it's a little bit more, but I feel like it's one of those situations. There's like 54% chance for the Ravens and like 46% chance for the Steelers. I think it's a lot closer than people are going to give credit based on what they saw from the Steelers last week. And the Ravens aren't really that great of a team as we saw in the last couple weeks, but I still think they have more than the Steelers, so I'm going to gamble and bet on the Ravens on that one. Moving on to the Titans at Browns. Ooh, we got Shedeur Sanders' third game. Now, you know what? A lot of people, I've seen, it's so weird. It's absolutely so weird because when it comes to Shedeur Sanders, people really, really hate the kid or they really, really love the kid. There's really no gray zone with it. I just want the kid to have all the opportunity. I don't want anything to hinder him. And like I said, I don't think that's going to be with the Browns because I feel like there's something internally. If they keep Kevin Stefanski and their GM, then I don't think he's going to be on that roster for much longer. I think he needs to get on a team that's willing to give him a chance, give him a full season starting, maybe even 2 seasons starting to see what he is. Because if he gets that opportunity, I think at the very least we'll know. Is he going to be a bust? Is he going to be an average quarterback, a backup, or is he going to be a really good quarterback or maybe an elite quarterback? The jury is still out when it comes to Shedeur, but I really want the best for him. I just want him to have a fair shot. Now, this is a great situation to be in because, like I was saying, this week I've seen a lot of people either cut up Shedeur's second game performance, or people have been saying, like I said, it was like, it wasn't that bad. He didn't pass for a ton of yards, but he did a lot of good things. I don't think, if I remember correctly, I don't think he threw any interceptions. I think it was like 1 touchdown, like 134 yards, and 2 or 4 sacks, maybe 3 sacks. 3 sacks, I think, sorry. I'm trying to remember, but not an overly bad game for a young kid that's making his third start. So that's why I'm saying, like, give the kid some chance, give the kid some grace. And he's going in, there's playing at home against the Tennessee Titans team, which is definitely going to be a nice tune-up game for him. Maybe build some confidence, and we might be able to see something nice. I wouldn't be surprised if he went out there, threw for like 220 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, maybe 2 or 1 sack, something like that. A very, very good game. I believe he had like a 97.7 passer rating. I'm trying to remember and kind of pull up the mental picture that I have, but I'm pretty sure he had like a 97.7 passer rating. So really, really decent. I know he didn't have the all the crazy numbers, or the stats didn't jump out of off the page, making you think that, ooh, he has arrived. But I'm liking what I'm seeing from the young man. I just want him to keep getting a fair, honest shot, so he can actually prove either the haters wrong or right, whatever. You know what I mean? Like, I just want him to get a fair chance, and people stop dogpiling on the kid. Let him be, let him grow. He's a freaking kid. Ladies and gentlemen, come on. Where's everybody's grace? When did we forget that rookies are supposed to struggle? And when did we forget that they're supposed to look overwhelmed at times, and they're not supposed to look like year 10 Tom Brady? Come on, guys. Give the kid a break. Let him have some fun out there. Hopefully this is a nice tune-up game against the Titans, and he comes away with a nice win here. I'm going to take the Browns in a low-scoring game, probably like 21-14, 21-12, something like that. I'm going to take the Browns in a nice, convincing win here. Moving on to the Colts versus the Jaguars. Ooh-wee, a rematch. The first team to go ahead and give me a little bit of pause when it came to my power rankings, because once they lost that game, I think that week I was really close to, I remember thinking, if they win this upcoming game, I'm gonna have to put them up in the top 5, maybe even top 3. And it took me a couple extra weeks for me to actually get them as the number 1 team in my power rankings. They were the first team to be able to really put it to the Colts and remind people that there's still a lot of work in progress, and there is a lot of flaws when you put it on Daniel Jones. He didn't play as bad as how when the Steelers put it on him, but that was the first team the Jaguars were the first team to show everybody, they're like, hey, this guy's reclamation project isn't Baker Mayfield's. He's not there yet. He's not even close to Sam Darnold yet. And Sam Darnold is about halfway, 3/4 of the way through his reclamation project. I think you can honestly say now, after this long being with the Bucs, I think Baker Mayfield's reclamation project is definitely complete. And we can say that we know who he is. He's a top 15, and at times, he can even be top 10, top 5 quarterback in the league because he has that ability. He's got a great drive. He's got that ability to put the cape on. He's a great quarterback. He's one of my favorite quarterbacks. But then let's get back here to the Jags. Daniel Jones versus Trevor Lawrence here. Now, the thing that I'm going to pick the Jaguars here. Even though a lot of people might think, oh, the Colts are definitely going to come in here with some revenge in mind. I feel like they might be a little bit rattled here. A little bit of doubt might be coming in here, especially going up against a team that was the first team to be able to shut down Jonathan Taylor, one of the best running backs in the league. And believe it or not, the Jaguars' run defense is actually really, really damn good, right? So if they can continue with that strength and make it even harder for Jonathan Taylor, and they don't even have to completely shut Jonathan Taylor down. As long as they make him mediocre, running for like 70 to 90 yards, something like that, and holding him to no touchdowns, that can really put a hamper on the Colts offense, because then that pressure mounts on Daniel Jones, and then we see what happens when he's forced to put the cape on. He just crumbles, bunch of interceptions, bad decision making. He reverts to those situations just like Sam Darnold does. Sam only does it in like the really big games now, where Daniel Jones, if you really put it on him a regular season game, he'll revert, right? So I'm going to pick the Jaguars. I think this is going to be closer than the last time. I don't think the Jaguars are going to come. Oh, well, the last time it was I came down to the last score, the last quarter, and it was pretty close. But I feel like, unlike last game, I feel like the Jaguars are just going to feel like they're going to be in control the entire time. They're at home. Their confidence is mounting. Liam Cohen is doing a great job in implementing that Mike Shanahan, KOC, Sean McVay, Kyle Shanahan style offense into their game, and they're starting to be more consistent with it. So I'm going to pick the Jaguars against the Colts in a close game, 3 points. Even though I feel like the Jaguars are going to be in control the entire time, and even though it's going to be a 3-point game, I feel like when you watch the game, you realize it really wasn't that close, right? Unlike the last game was a freaking fireworks. It was awesome. It was awesome to see. Moving on to the Vikings versus Commanders. Here we go. We got two teams that are fighting adversity in so many different ways. Now the Vikings, it's a team that I always like to gamble with, because we do have the ability to stay close with any team and always have a chance to win the game. We just haven't been able to execute or put it together and come away with many wins this year. That's totally fine. The Commanders are who they are. Jaden Daniels is out. They got Marshawn Lattimore with an MCL tear out for the season. They've got a whole bunch of injuries, so it kind of evens it out. So I feel like it's going to be a close game, but it's a bit of a tune-up game here for our Minnesota Vikings, as well as potentially a tune-up game here for the Commanders. Now, both teams are speculated in wanting to, or I think more so the Commanders in more of like a tanking kind of mindset. I feel like our Vikings are more in a developmental mindset. I don't feel like they care so much about trying to get top draft picks. I think they're more concerned with overcoming the adversity. When you have a massive game plan that you spend all off season and preseason getting ready to put into effect, and then in week 1 have all your offensive line basically injured, and then injuries completely derail that game plan to where you can't even start that game plan and having to run on the fly and kind of figure out as it goes. I feel like they're opting to continue to try to make some progress and focus on development. And so this is a good situation. I feel like it's going to be a bit of a close game, probably low scoring. I'm going to take our Vikings here because I like gambling with my Vikings team because we are always close here. Probably a coin flip as well. I would not be surprised if the Commanders won. I would not be surprised if the Vikings won. I'm going to gamble with my Vikings like I have been in the last couple weeks. And I'm going to say it's going to be something like 17-14, 17-12, 14-9. A nice defensive matchup. Both defenses are playing really, really good right now. So that's why I'm going to pick the Vikings in this one. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Yeah, but Lucas, you are a Ravens fan, and what are your excuses? You don't have a rookie quarterback. You have supposedly one of the best quarterbacks in the league, an MVP, and you guys suck. So enjoy that the rest of the season and how your season unfolds while we continue to work on development and try to be back to where our standard are, next year or the following year. That's how it goes. But anyways, big ups everybody in the chat here. Now let's get back onto it. We got the Jets versus the Dolphins here. Now this is going to be a bit of an interesting game because one thing that I saw with the Jets and their own actual Jets blog put up an article to tank or not to tank, if I remember correctly. I saw that, I was like, what is going on? So I don't know if the mindset is right here. I know they are definitely in the rebuild mindset. They are definitely looking at they've definitely accumulated a ton of draft capital, and they're looking to rebuild their trenches, rebuild their defense, and start off strong, and hopefully pick up, because they have so many good draft picks this year and next year, the two really really nice drafts coming up. They're definitely. I'm excited. I'm excited to see what this team is in about 3 years after everything kind of pans out for them. But I can't pick against the Dolphins because I feel like their offense is a little bit more stable than the Jets' offense. Even with Tyrod Taylor, gives them a whole different game. But I'm still going to pick the Dolphins in a close win here. A nice hard fought battle. Both teams looking rough at times, but I feel like the Dolphins will do just enough to steal a win here. Saints Buccaneers. Ooh, Saints are, they're going through their woes too with the rookie quarterback. They're trying. I know Alvin Kamara earlier in the season said that he would retire if they were to try to trade him at the deadline. Tyler Shuck or Show or whatever you want to call him. I just want the best for the kid. I want all these young quarterbacks to get a full shot at it. He has shown a little bit of stuff here and there, but there's still a lot of work to be done going up against a Buccaneers team that's got a really stingy defense, and Baker Mayfield when he's on, and I think they're getting way more healthy. It's going to be fun to see, but I'm going to take the Buccaneers in a 10-point win against the Saints. Pretty straightforward game. Bengals Bills. Ooh-wee. A couple weeks ago, or even a couple games ago, this game would have been like, oh man, this is an easy pick. This is going to be the Bills all the way. They're going to dominate, put up 40 on them. It's going to be like 40-3. This is going to be embarrassing. But you know what? I'm thinking this is going to be a lot closer than people are going to give credit to either thing. I feel like the Bengals, even though they don't have a great defense, I feel like they'll be able to be a little bit stingy at times. They're not going to be consistent, but a couple stops here and there, giving Joe Burrow the ability to kind of create a shootout. Hey, this might be a coin flip, although I feel like it's more of like a 60% chance for the Bills, 40% chance for the Bengals. I'm still going to lean on the side of Josh Allen and the Bills at home. On top of that, they play a little bit more inspired when they're at home, but I would not be surprised if Joe Burrow turns this into a shootout and they come away with a close victory at the end, a walk-off field goal or something like that. It's going to be a fantastic game, so check that game out. Broncos Raiders, man, last time these two teams faced, it was a bit of a snooze fest here. The Broncos basically did everything in their power to lose that game, and the Raiders just could not get over their own mistakes and shooting themselves in the foot, and as a result they weren't able to come away with a win. I think it was a 10-7 if I remember correctly. The Raiders are at home. They have Brock Bowers back. They have, they're still flawed and they're still struggling, but I feel like this game could definitely be one of those games that could be an upset alert, a bit of a trap game again, because, the Broncos might be thinking, oh man, even though we sucked last time, even we sucked that bad, we still came away with a win against this team. They might loosen their buckles a little bit, or their belt a little bit here. And the Raiders, if they can avoid making the mistakes, if they can complete some of these drives, they might make this a game out of it. So this is definitely an upset alert kind of game here. I am going to pick the Broncos just because I believe too much in their defense, and all that defense needs to do is continue to give Bo Nix short fields, come up with takeaways like they have been, and they can blow this game wide open. And hopefully the Broncos can come away with a more complete four-quarter game than we've seen all season. I'm going to take the Broncos in a decisive win, more than 3 points. I'm going to say probably a race to 21 here, 21-12, I'm going to say. Bears Packers. Ooh, this is a fun game because we got the resurging Packers. Their defense has definitely kept them in them, while this offense has struggled to refine their identity. They took a really bad news here on the offense. What's his name? I'm so bad at remembering names on the fly, but one of their receivers is now out for the season, or maybe on IR. So they're going to be missing that. And on top of that, they don't have Tucker Kraft. But since the loss of Tucker Kraft, where they were a little bit unstable at times, it looked like last week they were able to get back on the right page, and their offense is starting to look more and more like we imagine the Packers offense to be, with a gunslinger like Jordan Love. Now the Bears are basically facing essentially the same game in 2 weeks. The only difference now is that when they're facing a team with a really, really good defense, the last week they faced a team with a dysfunctional and struggling offense in the Eagles, and they were able to capitalize and steal a game there. Now the Packers offense is definitely not that. So when the Bears and Caleb Williams face good defense, Caleb Williams looks mediocre. Let's be real. Look at the stats. He threw like 143 yards. Did he even have a touchdown? Oh my goodness, I can't remember. I think he had 0 touchdowns. 67 passer rating, maybe three sacks, something like that. But the Bears as a whole, a team effort win there. I don't think they're going to be able to come away with that type of win this week. If they are going to beat the Packers, they're going to have to find a way for everything to work as intended. Caleb cannot be throwing for 100 and some yards. He's got to elevate. He's got to be throwing for 200 plus yards. He's got to take very little sacks, if no sacks, and no turnovers. And if he can do that, then they can win the game. But I feel like being at home, Packers, that energy, I think they're going to be able to take control of this game early and come away with a win against the Bears, kind of putting a little bit of a notice on the Bears and what they can potentially be here coming into the postseason. Moving on to the Rams versus the Cardinals. The Cardinals are an interesting team. I've been saying it for the last few weeks because it's so wild to see that they play so much harder for their backup than their actual starter. I've been saying I think the Kyler Murray experience is over. I feel like he's going to be traded in the offseason. He's just going to be unloaded to whatever desperate team picks him up. And it is what it is. That's what happens when you make panic and impatience your identity. You move on from a developmental quarterback. You never actually allow him to develop, and move on and start, with a guy that you probably, in hindsight or with clarity, probably not have picked him so high and or committed so much resources to make it work with them. They have a pretty stingy defense. That's probably their best part of their team, and Jacoby Brissett gives them a slightly above competent offense. So not like a great offense, not a good offense, but an okay offense. And when things kind of go the right way, they can put up 21, 24 points. I don't know if they can blow out teams or throw, 38, 40 points games. But if it's a race to 24, race to 21, and their defense kind of keeps them in them, they can definitely win games. So it is a divisional game, and you know how they can be a lot closer than than other games. So this game might be a little bit closer than people anticipate. But the Rams are coming off a brutal loss in which They use that early 2010s, late 2000s strategy of when you go up against a quarterback that is a strict pocket passer like Matthew Stafford, is where you just have to pressure him, give him less time to be able to make his decision and make his reads. And if you fluster him enough, he will make mistakes. I just don't think that's going to be the case here with the Rams, although Calais Campbell has looked very good in year 17 or whatever it is, 14 or 13, whatever it is. The old man is looking really, really good. I just don't think that the Cardinals can put that kind of pressure on Matthew Stafford consistently for the entire game to make him collapse like he did last week. I feel like even though it's going to be a close game, I think Stafford is going to be the deciding factor here. And even though it might be something like 3 touchdowns, 1 interception here, something like that, I think Matthew Stafford and the Rams come away with a road win here against the Cardinals. Ooh! This is an interesting game here. Sunday Night Football, ladies and gentlemen. We got the Texans traveling to Arrowhead against Kansas City. Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes, and the boys. And man, have they been exactly what I predicted them to be this season. But I've also said that this team is a wily veteran team, and if you ignore them, if you give them those chances, they can beat you with experience. Teams have just found a way to just not let off the gas. Maybe it's because they don't fear them like they used to, where in situations they would be hesitant to be a little bit more aggressive at times. So they've been able to kind of, put their foot on their neck or their knee on their neck, or whatever the saying is, and continue to push through. And as a result, the Chiefs, because they aren't that invincible force that they once were, they haven't been able to come up with those crucial plays that we're so accustomed to see them come away with in situational football situations. So it's going to be a close one. Who's gonna? I'm gonna go ahead and take the Chiefs in a very, very close game. It's just gonna be a slobber knocker here. I don't think it's gonna be one of those like methodical games by the Chiefs or the Texans or nothing like that. I just feel like the Chiefs might just get away with one here and come and with experience, make that 1 or 2 more plays than the Texans to steal the game based on how the momentum goes and how the game is going. I feel like it's going to be an ugly game one way or another. I'm feeling like this is definitely a race to 21, maybe 24 points, but I'm going to take the Chiefs on Sunday Night Football. On top of the fact that when the Chiefs are in prime time, they tend to elevate a little bit here. They're at home. And so Spags is probably feeling a little bit perturbed and looking to kind of make an example. That Texans defense, though, is legit. This defense is definitely the type of defense that can give Patrick Mahomes some troubles here. But I feel like even though it's going to be an ugly game, the Chiefs defense can do the exact same thing to the Texans offense. So I feel like it's going to be one of those really ugly slobber knocker dog fights of a game. But I'm going to gamble on this coin flip, and I'm going to take the Chiefs on Sunday Night Football. Moving on to the Monday Night Football, the end of football, we got the Eagles versus the Chargers. This is a bit of an interesting game because if if Justin Herbert didn't injure his non-throwing hand last week, I would be more inclined to give the Chargers a higher probability here. The Eagles are who they are. They're like I said, I don't think they're exactly the 2023 Eagles where they just kind of flamed out and lost out the rest of the season. I don't think they're the 2024 Eagles where they were just super dominant and doing things that, especially in the running game, that we hadn't seen in a while or anything like that. I think they're just somewhere in between. They're a really good team that's flawed, and things have to go their way through the postseason and the rest of the season for them to make a solid Super Bowl run. The Chargers, they're missing Joe Alt. The Eagles have a great defense, in this backup left tackle that they traded for is going to do the same thing. Like I'm remembering my Vikings last year when Cam Robinson came in. He had games where he looked really, really good. He had games where he looked really, really bad. He had games where he was right in the middle, a little bit of struggle and a little bit above average. So it was a gambit of every kind of thing to expect. And that's kind of what you are to expect from a stopgap player that comes in at the trade deadline. So in this defense, this pass rush can definitely definitely make him have a really bad game. And as a result, I feel like the Chargers are not going to be able to have that high powered offense. I know Justin Herbert has been talking about like he intends to play, and he is going to do everything in his power in order to get out there. He's probably going to be wearing a cast or maybe one of those gloves, whatever it is, to protect his non-throwing hand. But I feel like it might be similar to with Aaron Rodgers. Like he might just take a bad hit, and it might, he might re-aggravate that wrist. They might just be like, no, we can't afford to lose him. Let's just give him the rest of the game off, and it might be a closer game as a result. I think there's going to be a bit of a coin flip here. I think the Eagles are going to be coming in a little bit angry here, and SoFi Stadium doesn't really have a great home field advantage for the Chargers. The Rams and the Chargers both play there, and any team that wants to travel to there can really make their presence felt in that stadium. They just don't have that kind of home field advantage yet, so I don't think that's going to play a massive factor here. I feel like this is a little bit more of a coin flip, and this is the upset that I'm going to take because I think everybody is picking the Chargers to win here. I just feel like the Eagles are going to steal one here and squeak one and kind of come away laughing and be like, oh my gosh, we got one. We totally took one here from the home team here. So I think that I'm going to go ahead with the Eagles in a 3-point victory, most likely a race to 17, maybe a race to 21 or 24, but I feel like the Eagles are going to come away with a walk-off field goal or something like that, maybe at the very end, really dominate the last couple drives with their running game, making it so that, when the Chargers defense is really gassed out from having to be on the field so much because of that pass rush being so effective this upcoming week against that banged up O-line that the Chargers have. I think it's just a recipe for a lot of fireworks coming from the Eagles defensive line here in pass rush. So I'm going to take the Eagles in an upset win because I feel like most people are picking the Chargers here. And there you have it, guys. Those are my week 14 picks. We will be coming here maybe a little bit later. I have some errands, life stuff to do this evening. So I am not entirely sure if I'm going to be able to get back on to do power rankings. If I do, it might be a little bit later in the evening tonight because power rankings at the way that they are now, everything is really easily moved. There's really not too much mobility. It's really cut and dry. So they, like a 15-20 minute live. So we might be able to do it here before midnight here if I get everything done and get home from the gym at a reasonable hour because I'm back on two-a-days, guys. I've already been to the gym once earlier today. We're crushing it. 10,000 steps a day, 2 freaking workouts, a 30-minute strength training workout, and then an hour. I've added a 30-minute strength training workout on top of an hour a circuit plus heavy lifting workout here. I'm trying to maintain my strength. I don't want to lose the strength that I have. I like making sure that I'm, over 2 plates on every exercise that I can because I value total body strength. Life becomes easier when you're overall stronger than your everyday life. So hopefully I can get done at a good time and I'm not completely gassed, and we'll get ourselves the power rankings live done a little bit later. If not, we'll get it done in the morning. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe because remember, anybody that leaves a comment is subscribed in the month of December is going to be able to earn up to 10 ballots for a free t-shirt giveaway. We're going to be looking to give away anywhere between 10 to 20 t-shirts this for December. My way of giving you guys a Christmas present, I guess you could say. And at the beginning of the week, or the beginning of January, that first week or so, we're going to set up a live draw where we're not going to use a number generator. I'm going to be old fashioned. I'm going to write everybody's names down, and we're going to put them in one of those bingo rolling ball things, or maybe even just use a freaking hat and pick out a bunch of winners here. And I'll leave, at the time, I'll leave my email address for those who win to email me with your shipping details, and I'll get you guys your well-deserved t-shirt. So there you guys have it. I hope you guys have a wonderful evening. I have 15 minutes really to get ready here. I'm still wearing work clothes here. So guys, I got to go get ready here for the next part of my day. I really love every single one of you guys. I don't care what franchise that you guys are with. I don't care about the banter or the trash talk. I only want the best for you and your team. Unless you guys are playing us, at that point, I just don't want you guys to have any injuries. Good luck, and I hope you guys have a great week, and God bless all of you guys. Have a good one. Take care.